the May meeting of the Helena Parking Advisory Committee, and we'll start the introduction. We go to the public.
Hello, I'm Alicia Ryan, Executive Director of the Helena Business Improvement District, passionate about parking.
I'm Joan Taylor and I'm the residential parking permit representative.
I'm Sandy Scholl, business rep.
David Compke, Transportation Systems Director.
Chris Cooley, Transportation System Deputy Director.
Seth Brandenberger, BID representative, chair.
I'm Lindsay Camersall, business representative as well.
Is it KARME?
KAMER.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that right.
Yeah, you got it right on.
Okay, do we have any announcements or housekeeping?
Sometime I would like to talk about kind of what the things the committee can do.
Okay,
Like the field trips and stuff.
Okay.
And that is,
we'll do it. We'll have a comment period right after this public comment. All right, so let's go through the minutes. Does everybody have a chance to look at the minutes? And does anybody have any comment on the minutes?
well, it's gonna be a fair amount of typos in them, but I think the logistics is there.
Thank you, Sandy.
Or, you know,
The
Yeah.
recall fee.
I'm assuming we have 2 minutes for the work session, the public.
yeah.
There's 3 sets of minutes to approve. Is that?
I don't have to approve this.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready? Can I get a motion to approve the March 10, 2026 advisory committee meeting minutes?
And I just move that let's do all 3 in a row, or do each one by itself.
We can do all 3 in a row.
Let's just do all 3.
Okay, and so we have the meeting minutes.
They have the March 10th meeting minutes, March 10th working session minutes, April 9th meeting minutes. I move that we accept them.
Get a second. Thank you, Joan. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Okay, minutes are approved. Okay, do we have any public comments today?
No,
Hey, do we have any board member comment? Then,
Yes. So I was thinking our next step, I'm assuming we have the budget stuff now going in. What is our next step as a committee? I was thinking it'd be nice to be able to get a plan for the next step.
Well, we do have to present our annual report to the commission. And what I've done, and I'll show you this during the annual report section. But I've just taken what we voted on as far as priorities and kind of put it more in order. What's our top 2 priorities, that sort of thing.
I'd like this committee to kind of look at maybe 2 sections of things. One is like, where are we in the, like, your photographs you had last time? You know, what is out there? What do we know about? What are we concerned about? Maybe it's just us out on a little field trip at lunch, checking out things. And then bringing things back, which I'm sure you probably already know most of them, or maybe not. And then looking at, just us kind of getting a grip on signage and people have, people using them and issues. And so that's the piece of, and then including that was working with the staff, the PCO, but it'd be nice to go out with them for an hour or so to see what they are, what it's like to be on the street, giving tickets, running around. What do they run into? What do they know? What can they tell us about the users that we can make their life easier, both the user and the PCOs and you too. What is out there, because I believe people are gonna help solve their own issues. And then talking to the users of downtown, so that's who's actually parking there. So employees and then owners and stuff, and what building owners and business owners. So that's kind of like where are our people and what do we need to do? That's one section. And then the other section would be looking at like your statistics that you brought last time. And promoting the 2-day discounts work with BID is how can you use parking the best? What's the best way to use parking and helping, hot points, just sort of something like you're saying, 507, whatever, 1 and 2 hour parking spots downtown. See if you can find one near you. It's something we'll be working with Alyssa. And getting kind of like, and then with that whole thing, it's also going out, some of us going out, talking to some of the business owners and stuff about some of the issues they're having. I was talking to a server at Benny's, she's a dishwasher. And so behind Benny's, so she can't often get behind that lot. So she ends up on cruising the street. She plugs a meter or she gets a 2-hour spot. She goes over, she got a chance to get a ticket. She got a ticket recently, it's $10. She spends about, what'd she say, $5 a day. Yeah, $5 a day on parking. So it's like basically $20 a month. And then she gets a ticket. She said, well, you can pay it off. Earlier I said, oh, I just paid it. It's just, and she wasn't gonna go down and say, I think there was an issue with the machine. She's like, I don't care, I don't want to mess with that. Anyway, so I said to her, what if you were able to qualify for low income and you got a permit for $35? And she said, that'd be sweet. Because what's happening is those are the group of people that are parking, don't have the ability to say, I gotta go right now and plug my parking. So I'd like to work with some of those employees and keep that in mind of like, going to some of those businesses and educate them, saying, well, look, owner of Benny's, Eric, if you bought 3 permits at 35 and figured out how we did it, or anyway, go with those people and give them ways to save money. So one, that their employees not spending extra money that they don't need to because they're getting tickets. Working with them and find out, and that's where you guys in the PCOs come in, is there's gotta be some trouble spots that people see over and over again of someone getting tickets. Someone not understanding the game or whatever. It'd be nice to know who those are, and then we maybe as a group or as a board member could go and say, hey, how can we help problem solve this for you?
Well, a lot of it is education.
It's all education.
Because we still don't have anybody buying the 4-hour permits.
Well, yeah, part of it's do they know about, but so what we need is, I'm willing to lead this up, is talking to the people out there, go like, where are you parking? Here's a 4-hour spot for you. This is how you do it. Those options where I think what you're gonna be doing, we can work with that and just start picking people off who are struggling. Either by getting tickets because they can't figure out where to park better. Or
Oh. My concern with that, so somebody that's getting a lot of tickets. typically it's because they are just literally a habitual offender. They refuse to pay, they refuse to buy the permit, they refuse to park in the right place. I think this lady is probably the exception to the rule of people that get tickets more often than not. And it's just because she's not sure or she doesn't have the time to argue the fact that she paid it or not. Which again, shouldn't be that hard now because you can appeal them online, right?
Right.
But that would be my concern with an approach like that from us is that the people that you want to know about that give the tickets all the time, they're getting them on purpose because they refuse to
Well,
follow.
then I think, I don't think it hurts to go down to those people and say, hey, we as parking are noticing that you're having issues. What are they? If they're gonna say, hey, this is, I'm boycotting, it, like, well, great, just want you to know, we saw the problem, we reached out to you. You made a decision, we're moving on. Cause they're the ones who are gonna be going like, parking is all this and,
Well, we're never gonna stop that.
well, no, but I'm just saying, I would like to see our kind of our next stage is, we passed the budget, and I think like. When they're explaining to you at the budget, like, if we have this little pile here, then we can't do much, but if we get a bigger pile and we have matching. Things, we can have more things fixed.
Well, I think there's three things going on. One, I think it's a good idea to take like a noon field trip prior to, on the same day, maybe as the afternoon parking meeting. Take a field trip and look at some of the facilities
Yeah.
while we're dealing with it. Just take a walk around for an hour.
And you guys might have this first to go look at.
We can do it. So I don't know if you guys would be available for that, or somebody would be available to kind of take us around and show us what we got. As far as facilities and maintenance issues and that sort of thing.
I just said,
Do we have maybe a goal that we can start with on this tour? Because I mean, it's walking around.
Yeah,
is
because
one
when
thing that
we've
target.
gone through and went and walked through the garages recently, or at least 6. And just walking, looking at the issues and talking about it, it took us 40 minutes and we didn't even get really to the top deck. So,
well, even if your list, I mean, giving us a list.
Issues.
There is a lot of issues. I think if we went to Jackson Parking Garage, look at the
Yeah.
parking lot, the parking garage talked about it. That's just one.
And well, you have a list. I mean, part of it is just, what is do you need help with a priority? Probably not, or do you,
But that's an
it's
idea.
an idea
I
that,
mean, right now, we're waiting for the budget to get passed,
Right.
or they revise it or not.
well, part of it is education.
Part of it is, yes, our
For us.
education for you, but for us to sit there and start to plan for things without knowing whether they're gonna pass the budget or not.
So I don't think it's
We're not
timing.
talking about.
I think what you're looking at is saying,
We're looking at
when we
the
talk
issue.
about sealing the cracks, this is the crack we're talking about. When we talk about stairs, this is the issue we have. When we talk about landscaping, this is what we see. Just kind of the highlights, so when someone comes to us and says something, we go, well, have you seen those cracks up there? Well, those happen in every garage.
Well, I think that's it. And the other thing is, I think it's useful for the parking committee to have the idea of what we're dealing with, whether or not we can resolve it. But also, at the BID, we had talked about a list of talking points. Coming up with some talking points for when the public catches on that rates are actually gonna increase. If approved by the commission. Yeah, I think the reason we haven't heard anything about this yet is because these meetings are running so long that the press has left by the time we get to parking. I saw that during the meeting Joan and I attended till 9:30 or something.
Yeah, they've been marathons.
Yeah,
So I just think, and you, I think, when Elizabeth Chris was talking about, we have a whole list, we just haven't done priorities. When Lizzie asked, what are your priorities? But I liked your response. Well, depending on the pot of money we get, we can do a bunch of little things this way, we can do a bigger thing this way, we can do a safety one that has, the invisible must be done. And just so we know that, and I think those are the talking points, I think, that send a BID into the public of like, you still gotta take care of it.
I think another thing that I'm hearing you say as well is, and we kind of brought this up a little bit with the new map, is this educational piece of where they can go. And I just pulled up the Passport app is there any capability of adding a map onto this map that allow, or this app that allows you to see like where you're at and where the lots are adjacent to you?
We will check into it. I don't believe so.
Okay.
because If I remember right, when we talked about the app, it was pretty
It's
much
pretty
just,
limited.
yeah. Just pretty.
I mean, you
much,
can
yeah.
pay and go into your session, but like if there was a way to be able to click and be like, I'm here, these are spots near me that I can go to. I think that communication piece would be huge for people.
Okay,
The one issue that we have with that is that we're a one zone, one rate. So we only
Right.
have one rate, one zone.
And I don't
So-
know if the zone thing is the problem, but I think it's the access of where it's at.
Right,
Like
but
you're saying,
if
like, you should go
you're, you know, looking for a garage, everything lumped into one.
Sure,
So if you had, like before, where we had the garages as a different zone,
right.
where we had 9 zones or whatever, and people found that confusing. But that helped you delineate where you wanted to go. So we can definitely,
Do we think that that is a problem? That are people looking for a garage, or are they looking for a free spot or a 2-hour spot? Like what do we think people are searching for?
I
I think people are searching for the closest point of
Closest,
approach to
yeah.
wherever we're going.
Well, that brings up the thing with the kiosk, like Missoula has, if you look at Missoula's, they have this big thing that comes up over their kiosk. So when you're driving down, you can see over the cars and go, there's the kiosk, we're going on a park. So before you make those signs or whatever, we should look at, see what Missoula did. So they have the same kiosks we have. But I notice when I'm driving by, I'm like, where do I park? And I found Subway, where's the nearest kiosk? I'm like, well, like this park, but they have these nice little signs that you can see over the cars. And so you park and you know, come back, you know, 5 cars back and you can find the kiosk you want, so they don't use the app.
I think that's a good point too, because,
They're hidden, look at Jackson.
Jackson,
Yeah, I drove by 3 times to find all those,
yeah, across from the BID, there's 3 kiosks.
yeah.
And I think if there was a good sign, you
Well-
could at least reduce to 2.
Get up higher where you're over there behind the, Performance Square on Jackson. And there's some tucked in there too, I didn't even know existed. The kiosks, I mean, I think there's enough of them around, you just can't always see them.
You know, pay parking here.
Yeah, they have a really good way to say it in Missoula. I'll take a picture, I'll be over there next week.
Okay, yeah,
I
It
had
feels
one
like
by.
a tangible place to start is maybe starting out. I mean, yes, obviously a tour on what we're looking at the existing problems, but maybe starting out with signage and communication.
Yeah.
And seeing really how people perceive that. That feels a little bit more tangible than just kind of trying to see everything.
Yeah, I think part of it is I found just driving around, looking at the parking signs and what was it meant, what was right and
Yeah.
what was different and old.
So we're gonna have a report here, should have it already, but I haven't looked to see if we had it, but. On which kiosks are doing well and which ones are just.
Well, you figure out how to do that?
That's cool.
Yeah, we can run a report that shows us, you know, for the last 12 or 18 months, how much money physically has this kiosk collected.
Oh, that's great.
well, that'd be,
I mean, I think this trivia stuff like that will help us,
Mhm.
which, and if we help us, then hopefully make your job better and easier, if so that. You know, we're educating people, because you brought up the point, it's like, you know, the issue isn't whether there's enough parking, it's people just talking about the perceived notion there's a parking. We're never gonna make that go away, but I think we can take some of the people that are talking the most
yeah,
and say, look, or we can say, this kiosk, look, the top most used kiosks are on this one block. Okay, well, what does that tell us? That's the action of the block, so we need to educate the owners that there's other parking off the street. Like, this is cool, you got all this business down here, but people aren't always gonna be in the front door there on like maybe the 400 block. But if you just went around the corner, you tell your customers to go around, and just that kind of education. Because they're not gonna remember.
I still think it's a good idea to walk around garages.
yeah, I think we probably,
And, I mean, we don't have to see every crack in every floor, but just to.
Well, do we need these guys to go with us, or can we just?
we don't need them, that would be great if they did, but we can go walk around next.
We can walk around and have questions, then we'll drag it back.
Yeah,
Take you back to the garage.
yeah. I just have a couple comments, I figured we'd go about 5 minutes on this more, there's a couple comments, one is, if everybody's looked at the garage on, Broadway.
Well, they
Not
stripped out.
ours.
Yeah, well, they had stripped out everything.
Turns out it didn't have any rebar in it, but
Oh.
it was a different, it's just.
Well, I was looking at that going like, well, why are they taking out all the floor?
Oh my
They
god.
pulled the deck out, it was just poured over the pan deck, which is the metal
That's a
underneath it.
little chunk of change happening up there.
1.5 million. So that's what it costs for one deck.
See, I mean, I think that's a really good.
Pretty small deck too.
Yeah, that's a pretty small garage.
I think that's what we need is those reality checks, like, you know, this little garage here, 1.5 for a brand new one. We maintain our big garage, then we're looking at 40,000
Yeah.
to fix it and maintain it.
That's just
Buy it?
for a deck.
That's right, that's not the garage, I mean, I think those are the things we're looking at that people need
I
to.
think that's a good talking point.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not our garage, but that's what it costs.
I used to live in the Denver block that was built there before it did burn down. They built this parking structure.
Oh, no kidding.
Wow, that's fascinating.
It was a great building. Too bad it burned.
Anyways, I think this,
Worst people
So the other comment I had was on the, well, I had a couple. One was on, maybe Alicia could kick in here on what's going on Jackson Street. Lot 3,
I haven't seen,
Northwestern Energy.
Oh, yeah.
got it all
I haven't seen
torn to
any,
pieces.
Yeah.
any workers there recently.
What is gonna happen there?
So they're down, farther down by the Holter, they just put in the poles in the road. And then they have to turn the corner to go west on Placer. And there's one more pole that they have to put in right next to the post office. And then those poles that they put in on the block between Placer and Lawrence, those are gonna have bulb outs around them. And then I'm assuming, because we haven't got a really great updated schedule on what they're doing, that once they start doing those, they'll go back and start doing the reclamation in all the areas that they've been in. That's an assumption.
Okay.
We haven't got a plan from them, but
We have been in touch with them and let them know that we expect them to come back and fix.
yeah, we just haven't got a plan on when and where.
lot 3 would be a good one to find out who's in that lot. You know, who's actually using that lot and how long are they using it? And then see how we can take some pressure off of it. You know, can we get people up a little higher off the cruise on with a permit, a different permit, you know, can we do some kind of juggling? Because that seems to be a big problem for anybody using that backside there. It's not getting much turnover, I don't think.
It's so tight, it's surprisingly tight. When
Yeah.
You go down behind the Burton Ernie's and
There's nobody.
there's nobody in that lot.
Well, again, that's an education
It's
thing.
sold out though.
That's the weird thing, yeah.
So I don't know if you've been through the parking garage like 6 this week. It's been empty. And we're oversold. We actually have sold more permits than we have parking spaces there. But I mean. Was it Monday or Tuesday when I came in? I was like thinking that I might have missed a holiday, so I
That's
took a
right.
week off the week because there was nobody on, it was about 50% full on the first level. Second level was empty other than county and city cars. And I was just like. You know,
So you park in the garage normally? Is that where you park?
Well, there is.
so I don't know why
My truck is-
we're oversold, but nobody's parking there.
Well, but those are the things I think we need to look at and say. You know, like the Burton Ernie one, we could sell a few more, if someone needed it, we could sell some more, because we know it's not used. And because there's not that many garages, so there's not that many. I think we can make some of those choices, we can look at the statistics. And I wouldn't run out right now and go sell more from Sixth Street, because we know there's more issues there, but. I think we can look at some of those on a basis, garage by garage.
Yeah, we're 5%. Well, we have the system set to sell 5% over.
Yeah, but can we adjust that?
Fast.
I mean, if some big employer comes down, they're gonna. If someone fills up the building. You know, backfill across building.
Well, that's why we have the limit set at
Yeah.
5%. We don't. We'll see. How it goes, because the days that it is busy, it is.
I'm
There's no
talking,
spot.
I'm not talking the real narrow ones like maybe Sixth Street, but Burton Ernie's would be a good one. How can we use that better? If no one's in it, how can we get people from lot 3 to come down just a little bit further.
So I'm gonna bring up a side issue
Okay,
that the BID can help us out on. The garbage dumpsters that are in that lot. The garbage trucks going in and out, dumping those dumpsters for the union and whoever else uses it is destroying the lot.
Lot 10.
We're gonna end up having to repave that lot because of the garbage trucks going in town. And so that's one of those things that it's not a cost.
It's just too heavy for the asphalt.
They were paved for cars. They weren't paved for turning movements from a big dumpster.
so what do you
What do you
reckon
think
happen?
that's gonna happen?
Well, I know Public Works, Solid Waste and BID are trying to work on a global garbage container plan for downtown. And we really need to be moving that along because we got garbage cans in areas that they shouldn't be. And we got garbage can dumpsters taking up parking spaces that, you know, at least they're paying for those parking spaces. But yeah,
But in general, that poor driver must just hate downtown. It must be just a challenge to empty garbage downtown in those big trucks.
It's interesting because as a developer, those, I mean, garbage is required. You have to plan to put a dumpster, and a lot of times it does end up in the street or in a parking space. So it's kind of a broken system to a certain extent.
yeah, and usually the parking is the one that gets,
It gets taken.
and not that we are limited on parking, but I think that plan, working with the BID, so that we have some sideboards on when and where those dumpsters go. What are they gonna look like? What are they gonna?
We'll take one more step and find out who's paying for those dumpsters and how some people are paying for way more than their share and others aren't paying anything.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not our job.
there's a huge issue there.
Well, I know, but maybe if they're doing this whole thing, that could be the other piece of it is
Well,
like,
that's part of the issue, the regionalize the dumpster locations. And then how they paid for, I don't know, that's between Public Works and Solid Waste, but to try to locate them strategically so that. You know, some people are gonna be closer, some people are gonna be farther, but at least there's dumpsters available for people to use. And we don't have people going and dumping their garbage in somebody else's dumpster, and then when they go out to dump, it's full.
Well, that is I think we've been working with,
You have.
at the BID, we've been working and we just were aware of another dumpster issue that we've
But
been
again-
discussing today, but I think.
I know that one.
Yeah. I think it is an issue, don't you think, Alicia, that we can work on?
well, I
But
think,
I wasn't aware of I just haven't occurred to me that
different people are paying for them, like,
that it was
Some people-
ruining the asphalt.
yeah, that's a whole other.
And
But also, when we talked to, it's been years, people keep trying to find out who's actually paying for the dumpster, that should be pretty easy to figure out. I would think, and then who's not paying for it,
some people were not paying at all.
I know. And then you get someone like, some poor realtor that empties one bag a week, they're getting nailed with it, and the restaurant is just stuffing them every day.
Yeah. Well, that is something that the BID can
Anyway, so that's,
then work on. All right, well,
The
let's
other thing would be
move,
talking points, yeah, so finding talking points, working with the statistics, like, cause when David was. Talking about those when you were sharing them last week. Those are great talking points to just tell people that. Just back then, what was it, 90,000? Is our revenue from hourly parking and, this, which is a little sliver of the pie. But that's what manages the movement of downtown. But doesn't pay for the garages, it doesn't pay for things to get people downtown. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
And then we also need to talk to Alan Nicholson.
Yeah.
all right, well, let's move on.
Here I had one public comment come in.
Yes.
From Gabe Sweeney. Hello, I'm a homeowner in Helena, father of 2, and employee of a local downtown business. I just wanted to register a few comments about parking in the city of Helena. I find the cost and function of parking in downtown Helena to be truly absurd and totally unacceptable compared to other regional cities. The cost is shockingly high one may say laughable, except that it is a crushing financial burden for employees who have to park downtown, especially those with families. I'm aware of past mistakes the city has made, but that burden shouldn't be completely shouldered by the people who work and live downtown. It is a commercial center whose function is part of the economic system of the city, and I'm assuming it's Valley at large, but it's Valley writ large. Its costs should be shared equally. Lastly, the function of the parking permits is very broken. Please institute a larger cost reduction for annual permits. And if the annual permit window can't be shifted, please add an option for auto renewal of permits. No one should have to think about parking this much. We are also so fortunate to have such a beautiful and wonderful city, but the parking downtown drives away and frustrates so many people who would like to spend money, spend time, and enjoy the heart of our community downtown. Thank you for considering these thoughts. Kind regards.
Do you know what business? Do we know what business he has? What kind?
No, he's just an employee.
Okay.
That brings up the other pieces. How do we find the people who aren't coming downtown? I mean, we talked about that before. I mean, are there people that don't come downtown because it really is parking? Or they don't come downtown because what they need is not down here? Or it's not in their path to go home,
Or it's pretty closed.
or it's already closed, yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's not open, you're trying to go early.
Didn't seem
Okay,
to
well-
stop many folks for vigilante parade.
Yeah, wow, seriously.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll take that comment and include it in the minutes. All right, so let's move on. Have you heard anything on the parking map update?
Look at that.
Look at that. Wow.
So this is the QR code for the passport app. I was going to ask the chamber and the T-bid and the BID if we want all their logos on there as because they're semi helping sponsor this and promote this.
Yeah.
But do you guys have like a QR code so that people can go to, if they want to go to the BID or the chamber, they can just. I looked online and I couldn't find anybody's other than.
We do on our trash can.
Do you?
Yeah. But we can put our logo on.
Yeah.
So. The problem with the map was everything underneath the text. Is permanent. There's no way to modify it. So I had to get creative with, like you see up here in medical arts, I gotta expand that out a little bit so it doesn't cover up the text. There's no way to make it.
I may be able to hack that for you.
Okay.
I was a graphic designer, so I can fix that for you if you want.
That'd be great because all we have is a PDF right now.
I can help you. Yeah, I can. Yeah, definitely.
And,
Is there
maybe
any
we can
point in
skip.
adding the number? How often does the zone change?
it does.
Is it worth adding the zone on there somewhere?
Well, so some of this is free parking, some of it
Okay.
is pay to park, so that's why we just called it public parking.
Okay.
So the green is
All public space.
all public free, the free,
No,
this plus pay part,
pay or free.
okay.
We excluded.
And then the
where-
numbers like 2 and 9, those are lot numbers?
Those are lots, yeah.
Okay,
That's the part that I need Lindsay's help, because,
that's right,
Yeah.
they're permanent in there.
yeah.
And
Well, good.
so down here in this
Then.
corner, you can see this little line.
Yeah, that was a
So-
sticky tape or something.
No, that was something that I covered up with a white rectangle.
That's what I'm asking.
I can fix all of this for you, yeah.
Just to make it, to clean it up. a
You
little
notice
bit.
that she's the word hack. No, I can fix it, but she went hack. She's at a whole nother level than us.
I think where this is going.
We don't mind, know the details.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think for one thing, we see those numbers on there and they mean nothing.
well, that's the lots that are public parking will put on
They
there.
mean something to us, but not for the, yeah.
We can put lot 9 or whatever.
Well, and realistically, the maps, how they get used, at least when I used to use them, is for directions, not as much where to park. By the time someone gets to you, they've already figured out where they're doing. But if they
Well-
would use their app, if this comes up on the app or something. it'd be great.
And that's kind of a good, I guess, point. I know that in some respects, the chamber and the BID use these maps for visitors. But truly, should we be looking at more of an electronic map? Kind of like Google, where you can pick a point that you want to go to, and then, you know, your phone tells you you're 21.2 miles away and follow this. I think that's some of the feedback we need from users.
Yeah.
More so to tourists, because they're not gonna get this map. I mean, somebody might go out to the site and look up for Helena, Montana parking and find this map and be able to go downtown. But should we be more integrated technological, with maybe some platforms that might allow for people to be like, I'm here, where's my nearest, you know, free parking or paid parking?
I'm not sure it would even be that difficult, like you could simply, because we own and maintain these lots, couldn't you just tag like lot 2 and claim ownership of it so that somebody can look at this and then say, I want to go to lot 2, type it into their phone and go to it?
Sure.
I
There you
mean,
go.
truly, that
Yeah.
would be pretty. Just on the back end, you just have to claim ownership of the lot, which you do.
Yeah. Do what I have to tell us.
I mean, I think it would be pretty helpful.
You know, like Google Maps or.
Yeah, just tag it on Google Maps and then looking at this, I can say, I want to go to lot 2, type it in.
Could we be cool enough that you actually could divide out, this is where the free parking is? That'd be really hard, I would think.
That would probably be very difficult.
So we have them all on layers and GIS. I have all the free versus pay to park. The other one, when I was doing this, because it's not spatially correct. Driving me insane, but we have some major landmarks. But when people are coming downtown, yeah, they might be going to the Holter or they might be going to the cathedral. But I think what the BID is looking for is, and the businesses are, here's the restaurants that are downtown. And I think if we're tagged on
Yeah.
Google, that might be more helpful than having a white piece of paper that has some lines on it. Report.
And stuff too.
Because people are looking for destinations,
It's
not just
That would be a huge.
So Lindsay, you're willing to take a crack at this?
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Who we could. We
We
love
get
it already.
Commissioner
All
there.
right. Now we're making progress.
But I think what we can do is maybe make a different flyer or map or something that includes all the partners working with downtown and parking in the city, and maybe revamp some of the educational materials.
Well, we have, the problem is, you know, it changes all the time.
Yeah.
Businesses start over, that sort of thing. What we did do is we made an effort to have people register their business on Google.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how far we got with that, but we did make an effort. So that, you know, when people search for things, it brings it up on the map.
Again, that's another good talking point. We could have a list of things like, for your business, have you, put a sign, I mean, pinpoint yourself on Google, have you?
We have,
If you know where your local part, your free spots are near your building, we could have a little list that they could
You can
answer.
also Google
Yeah.
about them. I mean, you can tag your own people's businesses on Google and then you can send it and say, like, you don't have to claim ownership of the business. So we can still go through and pick these businesses and then mark them on Google.
I didn't realize that.
So I mean, right now you got the
Yeah.
Bulb is on there. The original Montana Club. Union. So,
Well, what would be maintained easier if that business goes out of business or moves? Are they more likely to change?
Google
Yeah.
should resolve itself in the sense that it'll say permanently closed and it will pull it off of
So
the
then
map.
you don't have to go back and do that, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to put people's name on things.
It'll remove itself.
but the parking stuff is gonna be the parking stuff unless.
No.
Surplus,
No, I think it's great. I mean,
so, okay. Maybe that's the easiest step forward for people coming to town.
so yeah, so we have a white map that people, if they need to draw on chamber and get the visitors or who's lost. And then most people.
Okay, well,
use
I'm
the
not
map.
sure where we're going with parking in Google. We can identify the parking spots on Google.
The lots and the garages,
Okay, and who's gonna do that task?
that's what we were gonna work with.
Oh,
Lindsay.
fantastic.
Yeah.
She was gonna help us hack the map.
Shall we? Let's put his spot, mark his spot in the garage, so we know where it is. Yeah, it's like, the spot's always free.
I move around.
That's probably a good thing.
Okay.
Okay, residential, or we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Residential.
So that
district
that
update.
got pushed to June first because we wanted to ensure that there was 2 weeks notice. For the.
So the letter's going out June first?
No, the commission meeting is gonna be June first,
Okay,
and then the letters are going
The
out.
letters are going out this week.
good.
It's the same mailing list, we just have to basically update. We had to update the letter saying the meeting would be on June first, that they're gonna, consider terminating your district.
Those long meetings, they're real full. They just keep getting fuller and fuller.
Yeah,
Some things get pushed down the line a bit.
okay. And the budget rates update.
So yeah, so we went to the budget meeting back on April 15th. Seth and Joan and a few other people were there for quite a while. I think the presentation went well. At the end, we had to push a little bit to get the answer. Say, this budget includes these rate increases. I will be bringing these rates to you to approve at the next commission meeting. Are you all good with that? Because I'm not gonna put them on there if you're just gonna vote it down. So. Eventually, we got enough consensus from between the 5 of them that they were like, yeah, you can put them on the agenda. So. I did the resolution of intention. Last Monday on the 4th. Final passage will be this coming Monday night. And so it is our entire fee schedule for the whole transportation department. So transit fees are on there, all of our other stuff is on there. But parking is the only one that has any proposed changes at the moment. So when I presented them, got no pushback from the commission at that meeting last Monday. They asked if there had been any additional public comments or anything. Nope, I haven't heard anything. So. And we have,
18.
Yes,
yes,
And that's,
and we haven't heard any comments to date. either.
we should be there.
What's that?
We should be there then.
Yes,
At which one?
the 18th.
yeah, Monday
time is
night
it?
at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So it'll be, depending on how much stuff is on that agenda, it's gonna be a little bit later in the meeting, because public hearings come last on the agenda. So if you're not right there at 6, it's not gonna be a big deal. So spend too much of your time there.
So is it 6 or 5? 6.
The meeting starts at 6 o'clock.
The regular meeting started at 6, the admin meeting started at 5.
Okay.
So yeah, so we don't, I mean, I don't anticipate any pushback from the commission. So far, they haven't. In my staff memo for the agenda, I made sure to say we had, presented them at this admin meeting on the 15th. We had statements of support, both BID and Park Advisory Committee, and no dissenting voices in that public comment. And also, I made sure it was clear. So. So we'll see how it goes on Monday.
So right now, we have a consent agenda, which is our surplus of our vehicles, which they typically always just put on. There's to consider the work plan for the T-bid, the work plan for the BID. And then there's the adoption of the city account or the community safety action plan. And then the fees after that, so. Not gonna say it should be a fairly quick meeting.
Yeah, the action plan one might take a little bit because it's a new thing for them.
Well, yeah,
Probably want to talk about it a little bit, but
all those things we should be.
Yeah.
The resolution of intention for the work plans, they typically just pass and wait till the second readings.
So will it be public comment during this time?
Mhm.
So people could come in.
There's public comment on every item.
And our,
Public
so
comment at the end.
it's kind of funny, our item for the fees is like a double public participation item, because it's not just a regular agenda item, which they always take public comment on anyway, but it's actually an advertised public hearing. That's the requirement to pass fees. So I had to put an ad in the paper that said, we are gonna be passing fees. So there's not much more I could do to warrant public comment and participation on this topic.
So, yeah.
Has BID said something about it or?
Well, we drafted a resolution supporting the, parking advisory committee for transportation's increased fees. And this is a copy of the resolution.
So when I presented the budget itself on April 15th, Seth came for the committee and read your guys' statement. And Alicia came for the BID and read their statement. So anyway, long story short on this update, as long as fees go well on Monday night, then I don't anticipate any issues with the budget getting through as it is either. Budget won't be adopted until mid-June. And then, none of that money really technically kicks in until July 1st. And then the real final budget gets passed at the end of August. But as of July 1st, as long as the budget has been approved, we can start working on things that are in the budget. So that's kind of our timeline to start then identifying some of those funding opportunities that we can make. The 300,000 that we have in there for capital for projects, we can start identifying opportunities to make that go further than just $300,000. Then start, we get TIF opportunities or grants or whatever else there is.
There's also capital loans that we could look at. Higher amount, we just designate a piece for debt service and.
That's gonna be probably our last resort. We don't wanna really get back into too much debt with parking, so we'll look at the nice, good, don't have to pay this back money first. And kind of go from there. And then once we can identify some of those funding opportunities for different things, that'll help us prioritize the projects that we're gonna do next year. And that was something that we'll come back at probably around the August, September meeting and just go through with the committee once we've worked through that whole process. That was part of what we talked about when we brought the budget to you guys as the committee, is that I know I'm just putting a pot of money in here and that's what you're supporting for the moment, and we'll come back and talk actual projects once we get to that point. So
That was a point that the commission brought up too, and we just had to basically explain it the same way as until we know that you're supporting it and approve it, we can't really identify projects.
Yeah.
So,
Though we do have the report identifies.
well, I think we can identify projects we want to do, but until we find the funding source, whether it's straight sitting parking money or apply for a grant, until we know what those final dollars are, we really won't be able to decide what pieces and parts we're going to be funding.
Really?
Does that get us off the? Are we moving further away from the TIF request or?
No, moving closer to it.
Okay.
Good. I think the TIF, yeah,
That's fine.
The tip is a real large pot right now. I don't know when their meeting is,
I think they just had.
but then there's another.
Is there anything we can do? Is there anything we can do to help educate them?
No, I think I don't remember what their frequency of their meetings, but it would just be a matter of having a couple other committee members there when they consider it so that, you know, not only staff, but the committee members can pitch it to the TIF board.
So how, who knows when that meeting is?
I don't know, they just reformed it, so we have to.
I was still under the impression they hadn't fully established their board yet. Do they have a full?
I think they had. No, they didn't. They had their first meeting, I believe, and then they still didn't have a quorum because somebody was gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So it's
You
it's
still
on
have
a
time,
knife's edge,
which is
yeah.
good. I mean, it's to our benefit that it's not quite figured out yet.
And they're not like every other week or monthly, they're like every other month or a quarterly or whatever the time of frequency is, so it's. There is enough time between meetings.
But I have seen the projects that are on there right now.
There's a couple city projects in there
Yeah,
to evaluate between.
yeah, so
Honestly,
the projects are online.
yeah, it's just more like, what can we do to show support and education and request for money?
Have you've talked to community development? The potential for a TIF, right?
Yeah. Yeah, our biggest thing was that we were trying to get them on board with supporting waiving the match, and they're not.
They want the money in hand first.
Well,
Is what they're saying.
yeah.
Well, I saw a list of what was put in.
This is just downtown because they combined them.
I think if you go to their meeting, if you go to city meetings and you look up then there's a packet, and I think, I don't know where I found it, but I know what's in there.
He hacked the system.
I hacked the system. It's more like, I probably won't be able to do it again.
June
And
9th,
that on the top right.
June 9th there.
All right, I can tell you what's in there. Oh, I got it from a city meeting. That's where I got it.
But didn't it just say June 9th on top of that?
That's all.
And before that one.
If you click on the one that says May 12th.
Yeah, that's the capital mall.
Yeah, the biggest one on there is the Civic Center, followed by Iron Front Building. And the rest of them are landscaping, windows. Yep. So. Yeah, the fund balance right now is 3.7 billion. And adding these up, there's not near that much. So. There's quite a bit of money left.
So we have to know where the match is though before we can,
Yeah,
That's what the 300,000 is.
okay,
yeah.
so that's available.
Well,
For match, after the budget.
After the budget's.
Okay, we're going to move on to election of officers. And we need a chair, we need a vice chair, and we need a scribe.
I'm gonna describe still.
Okay, so Sandy's still going to describe. I'm willing to be chair unless anybody else wants to be chair. No. Okay.
My turn is up in
Wanted to see-
September. I won't be. I don't think I should take on.
He's going away.
Gonna do the bikes.
Oh, but you resign.
Damn, I think I need a younger person.
So did you?
I love
know
that
she's-
the term we're using.
Fill her role.
You're the hack.
What's that?
She's resigning in when her position's over in September.
In September, okay.
So that's why.
Not September yet.
Not September.
I know,
yet.
We need to look.
I will do the vice chair.
Or the
Then
vice
she's
chair.
one to
Yeah.
be vice chair. Okay, so we're gonna take a vote. Okay, so Sandy as
Secretary.
secretary.
Good.
Lindsay is vice chair. And Seth as chair. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion
Okay,
that
so
Seth is chair, Sandy is secretary, and Lindsay is vice chair.
Can we second ourselves?
Yes.
yeah,
I'm
for,
gonna say, okay.
I
will second
second,
it.
yeah.
Second it.
all right, is there any further discussion? Okay,
So,
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
it's like, put hands in heads up. Vote for yourself. So, that brings up, when we're talking election stuff, if your term is ending, Christopher's term is ending, right, he's not gonna reach up, he said. So that means I'm willing to stay.
Well, I have a 2-year, do you have a 3?
I have no idea.
I don't remember.
I assumed Julie was right, so.
I thought Christopher was the only 2-year, I thought.
Yeah, the rest of
No,
us.
I don't know the letter.
I have March 1st, 2027. So I have another year.
Yeah.
Several months.
What's Julia's?
Yeah.
Or what made Julia?
Let's see where.
I think she's probably the same as yours.
It's probably the same with me, so that's August 1st, 2027.
I can hack paperwork, John, that's one of the things I can.
Okay.
I can make your letter say 27.
We got
No, that. Thanks.
But we
I just
need
had
to
it.
be looking at filling those two roles, because
Yeah,
you're coming in as a property owner, right?
Correct.
So we have at large and we have residential.
yeah.
So who really asked you to come, Lindsay?
Julia.
You know, I was thinking about, there was a young man here early on for residential parking over by
Let's go.
the high school, and there was a business there, and the residents they didn't want residential parking, but the business did.
Yeah, so we lost touch with him.
I think I might have his name.
I've called them numerous times,
Oh.
but they wanted to dissolve their district
Right,
and I've never got a call back.
he must have moved or
But I do know the businesses are up for sale.
Oh.
So,
It would be nice to get someone from that resident district area with the high school construction coming soon.
Yeah.
so the big thing that I was gonna bring that up, thanks Chris for that segue. The school district is proposing, or at least made a comment about a 5,000 seat stadium that's gonna go right next to the school. There is no parking for 5,000 people going to that school.
Let alone the school.
And I've been parking. So. If it comes to fruition. I foresee a lot of those residential areas forming residential parking districts because. The stadium / new high school is a new impact, so they would qualify. Where I'm going with this is I think if the committee is agreeable to it, we need to start wrapping our hands around the residential parking districts and how do we want those to look? Or what revisions do we want? And how, just so that I think we're ready to go in a couple of years when they start opening that high school and because they're proposing the kids park basically 2 blocks away.
At the practice field right now, is that where they're gonna
No,
move them?
past that to that
Oh,
parking
right.
lot that's over off of Paris.
Because the
Yeah.
school's gonna be where the practice lot is, right?
no,
School's gonna be
it's
the
right.
parking lot
Oh.
and where the goes.
current
So-
lot.
My thing is I remember high school. Nobody's gonna walk 3 blocks to park their cars.
Well, they're just gonna walk to school, they're not bringing their cars, David.
I'm just saying that I think it's gonna be, we're working with the school district on an education and, a plan to educate the students on why they need to park out there. Don't park here, this, that, and the other thing, but we all know that there's gonna be folks that are just gonna be like, oh, I'm late for class or whatever.
So, need a new app for just getting all the tickets, where they can just use their app, and just pay. tickets.
Well, yeah,
Well, if they're, residential parking, but it'll have to be enforced. I mean, it's
Exactly.
Well,
We could
at the
put it
time
all-
that they're gonna be impacted, it will be enforced.
during the
It's
school
During the
day,
school day.
but when they come at night for a football game.
Well, yeah,
and so that's some of the sideboards that I think some of the things that we need to start talking about on residential districts. And if we, propose enforcing at night or for certain events or on weekends or whatever, what does that look like? And what does that budget impact look like moving forward? So just to
That's
put
clear.
that in.
I mean, it's probably, we can do some preliminary research in the sense of talking with Vigilante State or the Vigilante Stadium homeowners around there and see,
Yeah, they're not happy.
right? But I mean, still like seeing their
Well, they're
impact and how important.
But they,
this is
they,
to come.
they kind of bought into it because Vigilante Stadium's been there.
Right,
This is gonna be something new that I don't think has been expressed.
Yeah.
To the public.
Is the school bigger than it? More students?
No,
they rezoned, so it won't necessarily, well, they're working on that.
yeah.
So it's.
LNI always has a registration problem with too low numbers.
So anyways,
That's East Lawn.
They're supposed to still be, 1,400 students is the goal of the school. 14 to 15 is what I've heard.
cause like the Kessler one, they basically doubled the size of the capacity of the school. So that triggered other studies by the city because of the additional impacts that would. Bring onto the area. So,
okay, well, I guess we're moving on to code revisions. So I had one question on this, and that is, has legal looked at it yet? for
Yeah.
that? Oh, okay.
most of these are all legals. We gave them a draft and then they went through like the boot notice and everything. That was totally rewritten. The overparked vehicles, that section was rewritten by them. So I don't know how in depth you want to go.
I read through it today. I didn't see anything. There were a couple of questions I had, one being, if you're parking in an loading zone. They're just enforcement's just using your license plate. There's no tag that says,
So when you register for a loading zone, you provide your license plate or the plates that would be there.
but there's no.
No, there's no tag.
No identification. So if you have loading zone next to your building, you have no idea if the person parking there has a permit or not. Other than if it's UPS, you assume.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
So. I didn't read them all, I didn't read that, that is, we're asking some of the residents, especially coming out of the Atlas building. We're going to give them, they're gonna buy a permit in the top deck of Jackson. But that car's not gonna move. Does that, what happens with the,
So that's only parked on streets. On the
Okay.
public right away.
okay,
You can leave your car parked in a parking garage.
okay,
Now, if it starts collecting dust to where it looks like, it hasn't moved in a couple months. We're probably gonna try to contact the owner.
Okay.
Because we have had instances in the past where people have parked their vehicles in the garage or in a lot. And they've passed away. Get arrested.
yeah.
And
And how long was that camper on the top deck? A liter to go? It's sat there for a long time.
so it's those little things,
I just wanna make sure if we're selling someone a permit and saying we want you off the street, we want you in the garage, and by the way, if you don't move your car, we're gonna boot it.
no, that's only for on street.
Okay, great, thank you.
And we only boot when you get $75 from tickets. And the over part that's in here, that's taking place of our abandoned vehicles.
I like that term. Overpark.
Yeah.
That's the new term.
Yeah.
Well, abandoned vehicles to me.
That's not right.
It's
Yeah,
not, because an
Yeah.
abandoned vehicle is something that somebody drove the wheels off, parked it
Yeah.
by the next side of the road, and walked away from.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not the person that's homesick for 3 days and their vehicle has been parked in a parking space for 72 hours.
Yeah.
So the overparked is gonna replace that. And so now, instead of PD going out and doing the marking of the pavement for the bracketing of the pavement to see if the vehicle moves, we will do that with the LPR. We'll take a picture of it if we get a complaint on an overparked vehicle. Take a picture, it's a wide enough picture that we can see if the vehicle moves. We will come back 72 hours later. If the vehicle's still there, they'll get a ticket. We'll clear that service request, and then if we get another request, for that same vehicle, then the process starts. And then if they get $75 or more of tickets, they'll get a boot notice. If they don't pay before the boot notice, they'll get booted. And then, they either can pay for their tickets or they can go, so at that point, the PD will get involved because they will, create a call for service number so that they will tow it to their impound, so that the vehicle is tracked. And has so when somebody comes out in their vehicle, they call the police and say, hey, it's in the database for the PD.
how many are you really running into that are issues? You have like 5 a year or?
So
1 month?
the old process was a bit lengthy. And I think that was part of the problem. They were very time consuming. You had to do this and then that and then this. And there was 15 days in there that, the vehicle. And so this way we came up with, if somebody's homesick, they get a ticket, we'll probably have to put some sideboards on there, if they were homesick and they whatever, come in, show us the doctor's note or whatever, we can waive the ticket or whatever. But we felt that towing a vehicle because it was abandoned because somebody was homesick
Yeah.
was not the most,
So
community.
at 72 hours before you give the ticket, do you leave at 72 hours? Do you leave a note that says, we know you've been here for 72 hours and you
Mhm.
don't move, you'll get a ticket?
Yeah,
And
there's no
that's-
warning.
Okay, thank you. Warnings, where it does look for.
There's a warning put on the vehicle. And it'll be a specific one for it's over parked, and then if they're still there, then they get $25 ticket.
okay, so. When I read this, it said if you're overparked and you get booted. It's not, you're getting booted, but the boot itself is not a fine, but then you're gonna have to pay the cost of the boot process, is that correct?
Yes.
So how does that work?
So when it gets booted, there's a boot fee. And that boot fee is typical for all municipalities. Some are a little bit more, but that's basically the time for our staff to go down there to boot it, and then if they pay their stuff, then they go down there. That's really what the boot fee is,
So you pay this $75,
or whatever they have.
whatever you have in unpaid tickets.
Yep.
Plus the boot fee, and what's the boot fee usually?
50.
$50, so pretty reasonable.
Some places are 100. We didn't choose to increase that one just because. I mean, I think this next coming year, once we, get in full swing of the over park, we'll be able to see how many we are actually towing, booting, whatever, and then we can come budget year next year, we can, revise those fees if we feel we need to.
Well, do you think overparking is a really big issue downtown?
That's our number one service request to the PD.
Wow.
Yeah.
But while people are tired, it's not the person home sick that, drives the Subaru Outback. It's some of these other vehicles that park there. That's part of the reason why we did the emergency snow routes and no parking on the streets. all the Carroll students to let their vehicles turn into igloos over the winter time. They became a hazard. And so these neighborhoods have these also. And they had the trailers and so it has been an issue. It's been ongoing since I took over parking. It's been a reoccurring theme that every once in a while somebody gets everybody riled up about abandoned vehicles and they want something done. The last time I heard about it, I mean, they were tossing around, well, you had to move 400 feet. Well, I mean, who's gonna get out there with a tape measure to see if you move 20 feet or you move 40 feet? We're just saying a distinctive move. So.
Okay. Oh, how do you wanna do this? Do we just?
So most of the crossouts are things that don't apply to us now. Or, so they took the original parking pieces from MCA back in the day and they copy and pasted it. So there's a lot of references to highway patrol. So here's like the abandoned vehicles, they're declared over parked. This is just the section coming out. And then keep on going through here. And some of these sections. So parking trucks in officially zoned. This section of code actually said that you couldn't park a 3/4 ton in the parking district.
Kind of problem.
I mean, there's a lot of normal,
Half of the.
yeah, so it's never been enforced. So
It's good to clean it up.
So we're getting rid of that. No parking at schools. So there's these two sections. They had a specific section for no parking at schools.
I'll take care of that.
And then right after it, no parking areas. So we just combine them.
So it is legal now to park a semi in front of your house?
It always has been.
Cause I know got it, yeah.
So in the city of Helena has to declare. So some cities have it in their code that you declare truck routes. We have to declare routes that we do not want the trucks. So kind of the opposite.
Okay.
Parking time limits. We took that paragraph and just said that I, as the director, or whoever the director is, can establish parking time limits. And just left it at that. Part of this is we cleaned it up as a general overview because this committee's charge for the establishing resolution talks about these things. So these things would be done, in a vacuum. They would, a lot of these would come through the parking committee for discussion and so on. Disability parking, the city attorneys went through this and they rewrote this section so that clear than it was before. So this is all new. Do you guys want to read all this? Do you want me to read it to you, or do you want to just stop me?
That's fine.
Okay. So this just is talking about what's the disabled parking, duties to enforce, municipal infraction. So here's your first thing that you'll start seeing, this municipal infraction. The city attorneys and transportation particularly went through, and in the beginning it was an ADA complaint thing where the ADA community wanted more teeth for our code enforcement officers to these reoccurring folks that keep blocking sidewalks or parking their vehicle. Because we could only go out and ask, we didn't have any teeth to basically find them so when we looked at this, it was a bigger issue than just ADA. So we made it municipal code infraction. So anything in the municipal code can be gone through this process, which the first one can be a fine of shall be punishable of no less than $100 and no more than $250. And then for the first offense, and then the second is 250 to 500. So there'll be a process. You'll get a warning. There'll be the education component. There'll be the So this is how, we're gonna do some of these other code sections now.
How does that look?
Hmm?
Where does it?
So parking, camping, the attorneys just took out this last piece. So now it shall be unlawful for any person to park any motor vehicle, trailer, camper on camping for camping purposes on or within any public street, alleyway within the city.
What about cruise and is God's love have issues?
Yeah. For the purposes of camping, it's prohibited, no matter where you are, anywhere in the city.
And those guys are considered camping, they're in the street, not on the sidewalk,
That's up to PD.
okay?
Are you talking about like in a tent?
Well, I just wondered, there was a point where they had a bunch of people behind God's love in the street with
in
cameras
RVs.
and stuff, and then it went away, and then it got pushed back in, so I just wondered.
The PD goes through, periodically and then moves those folks.
Okay.
Like here parking in Helena, up in the beginning, we just made a very general statement that the city can establish parking enforcement zones. And that would obviously be something that goes either through this committee or through the commission. Again, here's highway patrolman, just clean up stuff. Penalties, went away because those are in our fee schedule. Not sure why they ever put penalties in code, because code changes are a two-step process. And then it doesn't go enforcement until 30 days after the second meeting. So it's a long drawn out process to just change things. So we moved all those into our fee schedule, which is what we're presenting.
Except for ADA, because they're in uniform. On signs too.
Yeah.
It's a federal.
Notice the violation, this is just duplicate language that we didn't need, you see this throughout every section for some reason. Back when they did this in 1984, you can go into other sections of code. They put in this notice of violation and this responsibility of violation, whereas the attorneys now just feel that at the end of the section, you can just say it once. You don't need to do it at the end of it. So there's many of those you'll see as we pass through. This is just, pay to park. We had parking meters in there, so dated language. And then placement of parking meters. We just got through the entire section because we don't do parking meters anymore. Operation, got rid of that. The limits, because up in the top, we can establish time limits, so we can get rid of all this very specific language. Meter hoods, we don't need anymore. So here's the group discounts. That's gonna be moved from code into our standard operating procedures, word for word. So what that looks like is, this is just a snapshot, but issuing permit, here's that same language in our standard operating procedures. So we moved the things that we thought might change more frequently in the future into the policy side so that we could have that discussion and be a little bit more nimble to be able to make those changes instead of going through a code change. So tampering with parking, we just took out the meters, and tampering with parking enforcement devices. Again, parking meter, back in the day, you had to be bonded for $2,000 to collect money from the meters. Again, violation amounts for fines we took away. Again, here's the notice of violation, responsibility for violation. They were big on making sure that that was known. And then changing, it used to be called the Parking and Traffic Division. We just renamed it to the current. Rental of off-street parking stalls, monthly parking permits. That's all in our SOPs. that doesn't be in, group and long term, again, there it is. There was a lot of redundant information, language in the current code, so. And we've been working on this for a number of years, and it kind of got pushed to the back burner, and we finally had enough momentum to push it through.
It saves 20 pages right there.
Yeah. Again, notice of violation, responsibility of violation. So I asked, nobody have ever heard of this hotel zone permit. But there's no hotels that have a bus, public streets that have enough parking to do
Other
this.
than airport or something.
So that went away. Permit for loading and unloading and by backing to the curb. Again, kind of some different language, designation on street loading zones. Again, that's our establishing, our areas to park and not park. And then, took out commission there because it's not a commission. We changed the fiscal year. They used to be on a calendar year. We took out display, to have a current commercial loading zone permit, the vehicle plate is to be said to permit. Time limits. Bus and taxi zones. You can- Taxi cab, so you can see how dated the language is. So that went away. Here's the residential parking districts, knowing that we'll probably have to come back and revise this section of code. We left it as is. Other than we changed the language. Convention parking permits. Those haven't been issued for a long time. Private parking facilities, so this is private lot enforcement. We have a rate in our fee schedule, so if somebody wants to do private lot enforcement, then we'll do that at our rate, or work with them. Airport parking, I guess parking used to go out and monitor the airport. That's, but we don't do that now. They have all their own stuff. Again, got rid of highway patrolman. Penalty for all that at the notice violation, responsibility violation. So here's comes the towing and impoundment section that was rewritten. This is more housekeeping in here to get clean up the language. So the city attorneys wanted to change this a little bit, so now it's a 48-hour notice. If the municipal court vehicle has $75 or more of unpaid tickets, or the municipal judge has ordered the vehicle to be immobilized. And then here's the steps for immobilizing them.
So if someone gives them a ticket, like at 9 in the morning and they make their loop back and they're still there, do they reticket them?
We only reticket for the morning and afternoon.
So someone could be gone for a day and a half and get three $25 tickets. Which would send them into the system.
If they were in the 2 hours, or in, yeah, 2 hours.
If they were in area town, if they were parked in front of their house.
No, but if they were downtown. I mean,
If we went by in the morning at 8 and we clocked the car there. 10 to 10, we came back and they were there, they were still there, or 10:15, we would ticket them. If we came back in the afternoon and that same vehicle was there, we would ticket them.
seems kind of,
So twice a day.
twice a day seems kind of harsh.
Taking up spots when you're not following the rules is
All right, but that'd be a 3-day process versus a day and a half. I mean, you could technically go by there 3 times and get 3 tickets.
no, we only allow morning and afternoon.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. I thought
It was every
parked
2
in-
hours.
well, 2 hours, because it's $25 fine, right, for the 2 hour, but yeah, I assumed that you could pay a full day of 8 hours for $8, or you get a ticket for $10, which is why nobody's paying it. But you, as it turns out, you can get $20 worth of tickets, is that correct?
If you don't.
If you don't pay. I mean, if you don't move your
Now,
car.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay.
but starting July 1st, you're gonna get $50 worth of tickets.
Tickets, yeah.
Cause all tickets are gonna be
The same.
$75.
So you're saying though that if you pay,
No, what I meant, if you don't move your car. If
If you're not
you're
ticket.
parked. I thought you could park 8 hours and you'd only get one ticket. It turns out you get 2 tickets.
He's talking about in a pay to park, so to pay to park all day would be $8.
right, but if you've paid, you don't get a ticket.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But if
Yeah.
you don't pay, you're saying. it.
I wasn't aware you could get 2 tickets in a day.
Ah,
Yeah.
right.
Cause it was almost worth the risk to just not pay,
Yeah.
and you would have to pay $10 to just get the ticket and pay there all day.
So now you get,
And you might not get a ticket at all, and you wouldn't pay anything.
That's true.
That
yeah,
typically,
it's
that,
parking roulette.
Does that happen though, like in those, that downtown area that you can park there all day and not get a ticket? Now with,
Not as much anymore because of the
Right.
vehicle.
right,
So, but back when they were just walking and we were down to 1 or 2 PCOs, yeah, chances are they didn't make it to every spot in a day.
we had a large increase when we started with the LPR, like just tickets being caught more efficiently.
But they'll get a $25 ticket, but they still can get a discount if they get in the first 2 days.
Yeah.
Right. I think people are still playing, I know people are still playing the game, but
Who's gonna do that?
because I know people.
Yeah.
I recognize the cars.
It is, I mean, but that's the choice, that's, you know.
Yeah, they're playing the game.
So that piece was just about the mobilization.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't realize, it makes more sense.
And
Yeah.
that's it, of
Good
the
job.
parking code,
Nice job.
more housekeeping, clean up old dated language and moving the things into a more flexible piece.
Okay, I guess, we need to vote on accepting these, is that what you're saying?
No, we just wanted
We're
to
gonna go through.
make sure that you guys were good with them, so that when the commission asks us, we can say, yes, we brought them to the parking. advisory committee."
Next on the agenda, put it in the regular, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
The regular,
And you could do a vote either to support or not support, the proposed changes.
okay, is everybody comfortable? Taking a vote on this, or does anybody want to read them more carefully?
Have there been any changes since last month when we initially went through it? Yeah.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion to support the proposed code revisions for parking?
I will motion to support the proposed code revisions.
Lindsay, I get a second.
Thank you.
Joan? Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, annual report recommendation. What I did was the annual report goes to the commission. And what I did was I took our priorities from our meeting that we work session meeting. And I put them, I had 2 top priorities because when I read the code for the parking advisory, it said that we were supposed to identify 1 to 3 priorities. So I put all of our goals and priorities in there, and I put the 2 recommendations. I thought the top one is on top. So if there's a copy of that. The priorities that we have developed are all what you see Yeah, it says here under the resolution. With develop parking advisory board. That we're to provide 3 to 5 recommendations for consideration by the city commission.
We need to move up more of these to hit that 3 to 5.
I think we are,
Or are we
we're
fine?
probably fine,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think it's a requirement for that number. It was more limiting than it was making sure you sent
Right.
stuff. It was like, don't send us more than 5 things at a time.
So that's why I put 2 top ones.
Yeah.
My only thing is number 7, that maybe there's more there than just in enforcement. How to address how enforcement is managed in residential parking district. Maybe we need to say something about managing the whole system of residential parking and improving it, or something that addresses what we're trying to do over by high school and expand that goal a little bit. What do you think it says? Hopefully, because we really are taking a bigger look at it. I don't know if it has to be in the goals or.
Well, I really think that, it's gonna become an issue in the near future. Not only with, Holland High, but some of the other improvements that are being made. And so I think looking at the program as a whole. Is a first step.
You can kind of reword it to be more of a review and revise the residential parking district program, comma, including enforcement.
Yeah, really enforcement.
Okay, so review. Revise and revise. Parking enforcement,
Residential parking districts.
Residential parking district program. Including enforcement.
okay. The residential parking. Program,
And there's a lot of examples out there. We'll do our part to try to send you some links prior to the next meeting or prior to when we have this comes up on the agenda. Again, like with all the parking, there's everything's under the sun out there as far as some of these special improvement districts or enforcement districts that some of them are kind of referred to. So we'll just have to decide what best fits, I don't know. And just go from there.
Can we elaborate a little bit more on the established low income permit parking opportunities? Where have we? I guess, what's our goal with this one beyond the 5%? Like, are we establishing the income parameters on that as well? It just feels like a very lofty,
It's a slippery slope.
I mean,
Yeah.
that makes me really nervous.
I talked to Michael O'Neill over
Okay,
at housing.
yeah.
To say, what can we do without, we don't want their tax, we don't want to know a lot about them. As in, please bring us your social security number and your tag that says you can have this, but define an opportunity. We can work with Michael and hit a list of things.
yeah, I think, we left that fairly general just because we didn't know what we were gonna do there.
Well, yeah, and so there's 2 issues. There's one is section 8. So if somebody's section 8 housing down, it's pretty easy to have a voucher.
Sure.
But then there's other identifiers, Michael's talking about, SSI and SNAP, and there's all other things that we can use as if you have one of these. It will cover, it, you know, and it should,
Can we just say meeting income qualifications?
well, we have to think that out because the issue is.
As
like,
established by the.
right, and what Michael was saying, you know, you could pick up, like, let's say. I think a single person low income is about 28,000. I mean, it's like, it's higher than I thought. I could probably qualify for low parking, I mean, cheap parking. So I guess we have to figure out what is our purpose. In
Right.
my mind, is it to help everybody, is it help the residents down here? I would like to really see it help the employees that are working on the cheapest income, and so.
Okay. So if
We
we
gotta
just,
figure it out,
if
even
we
if we just
just
find it
say-
illegal, what we can and cannot do.
Low income maybe is the right word. Maybe it's
for
opportunity
parking,
based.
well, it says
Income
for
based and.
meeting income qualifications, and then as David's suggestion of as established by the committee.
We need to, you know, it was a new addition last month. That we added the low income into that, so. I have a piece of paper, my old Michael knows.
Is that gonna work?
Can you restate that?
Goal is to dedicate 5% of parking spaces in each lot at a reduced rate for individuals meeting income qualifications as established by the committee.
Right.
Better.
Yeah, that's. yeah.
Okay, so we'll get rid of,
I like that better.
Yeah.
we'll get rid of established low income parking opportunities, or leave that.
I think the second sentence encompasses it.
Okay, so just get rid of the first sentence.
And maybe you just need to say to dedicate 5%. Always.
Cool.
Well, the way it's written in our fee is up to 5%.
Oh,
Yeah, we need to wiggle room enough to, because like, if you gave 5% away on lot 3. Versus, you know. Having Burton's lot at 10%. You know, we want that, I think we want that flexibility. You know, where are those workers coming from and.
that feels a little bit more.
Okay, so
Broader.
we're leaving it at goal is to dedicate 5% of the parking spaces in each lot at a reduced rate for individuals meeting income qualifications as established by the parking advisory committee.
We just have to, we'll just have to research more with Michael and see what's legal, what's, it's not great.
Well, the other thing is we always revise and
Yeah, he had,
through the next year to see how it's working.
the HUD, income rate. So like, income limit. And you, very low income is 27,000. So there could be a lot of.
Is that
People,
for a family?
oh,
Or is it just a single?
a single thing.
So I think what,
So we just have to figure out what our purpose is, because people will qualify for it. And does it matter if they're employees downtown? Does it matter if they are shoppers? If there's someone who's a shopper, they could.
I think you need to, just my opinion, sideboard it with employees of downtown and residents of downtown.
Yeah, that's just thinking we need to do something right.
Because I've heard a lot
Very
of residents.
Right, we know, yeah, and residents we can find, I mean, it's.
Chances are, if you're someone who's gonna qualify for this, you're not gonna spend a whole lot of time shopping downtown.
Right,
so,
Well, and how would you apply?
but if you were someone who came out and sat at a coffee shop all day, if you're, you know. There are people out there who just are looking, look at the library, look how people sit in the library all day long.
do we just need to say for downtown employees and residents?
I think so.
Okay.
It's like, one of the issues we have is like, we're complaining that we weren't addressing the employee,
Yeah,
and so, you know, it's.
Yeah.
It's fair, it's all the service workers.
I like that.
I think that's a huge thing to go back to say and educate. That's a really good educating thing, is like, what is your staff? Okay, we'll be creative, or 3 of you can share one $35 per minute.
Okay, so goal is to dedicate 5% of the parking spaces in each lot at a reduced rate for downtown residents and employees.
I mean, it feels like we're addressing the public comment through this too.
Rate For township residents and employees. Wait.
And green
Meeting
that.
income qualification,
As
as established by the.
Yeah.
You got it.
Park advisory committee. Okay,
What I'm having a problem with is the word goal, and that's a whole different
Mm-hmm.
structure than the rest of them have active.
yeah,
Where
I think there was an issue there.
You could just take out goal is to and just say dedicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We're taking the goal.
the goals are up here.
Sure.
Okay, definitely 5%, okay. All right,
All right.
is there anything else?
I got one question, I don't know if it's this one, but. Emergency parking and emergency plowing.
Where's that coming from?
Maybe it's not the right spot, but somewhere we should also. In theory. If it's a snow day, and you guys tow someone or ticket someone. Should that also be in our little? I mean, right, isn't it part of parking commission? If you call snow day on Park Avenue,
It's a separate section of, city code.
do we have to worry about that?
Okay. Because the emergency snow routes are, already, designated through, our maps.
That's the only problem I have with is mainly downtown. During the day, it's a snow route. And they plow during the day and you can park there for free at night. I mean, if you look at, unless you guys have changed it. We try to get people to be out of the lots and out of off the thing, we're trying to get them. To manage them, and then we say, oh yeah, on a snow day, by the way, you can't park on Helena, Park Avenue, Broadway, all those are emergency during the day. Because it's a snow route.
So it's not, you can't park there during the day. It's, if it hasn't been plowed. You can't park there. If it's
When-
been plowed.
But that is so.
When the road is snow covered, that's what the sign says.
I know what it says, but my thing is like, my issue is, why don't we have them plowing at night down there and not during the day?
It's plowed 24/7.
Okay, well, can we
But
change
it-
that
But
word?
if it snows, if it dumps a foot in at the hour from 8 to 9. People need to move their vehicles so we can plow the snow.
Right, but if you work and you don't get a chance to get out. I mean, is it,
The point is there's a lot of the towing that isn't happening, but you're gonna be burned in. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the point.
I guess my philosophy, we spend all this time trying to get people. To get out into the parking spots, get further away on the street, get out of the garages a little bit. So we can open up some of that, and then we're like,
But
unless it snows, then you got like
so there's only 3 streets that are emergency snow routes.
such a big street. It's helping us.
Well, you gotta,
The most of those are permit, so too.
But I guess the question is, where do they go? So on a snow thing, we say during the day, if it's
So,
snowing,
Our guys come in at 4 o'clock. in the
I thought there
morning,
was a 24-hour.
And they come down and these major areas like the downtown get plowed first at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying, I bought a permit. I'm on the street and now I can't, it snows. So I have to move my car, but where do I do it? Where do I move my car?
Well-
Versus if they did that, if instead of having the 8 AM to 8 PM, they did the night signs like they do up at. Like around the Capitol, it has like, we want you during the day, you know, we let.
we can look at that.
Yeah, it just seems,
Okay.
it seems counterproductive to have everyone's like, we got you buying a permit.
Yeah,
Then it snows, and if it's snow covered during the day, then you gotta move your car, but you already paid for something, but you can't.
So the point of that one is gonna be, we can change the times, it's not gonna get plowed during,
Right,
the travel lanes will,
right.
but
Well, I wanna know which plower wants to be down there during the day anyway, plowing.
they plow all the time.
Yeah, so
well, we should.
anyway,
We
that's.
should also be that.
Okay, because I parked on Bartlett's. And I said, you know, and it was like, okay, so then where I go, well, you go to the garage. I said, oh, this one they had arms, like, okay, so I go to the garage, but I don't, my permit's not gonna. I'm gonna get a ticket if I'm in the garage with the wrong permit, right? So I put my car in the garage because it snowed. I'm gonna get a ticket. So that's what I'm saying, that
Does
is
that happen to anybody if you know?
It doesn't happen often. I mean. I'm sure we've had that happen, but I haven't. This year's a bad year to
Yeah, anyway.
It's never gonna
Commission-
snow in Helena.
Okay. Okay, so
Sorry.
let's. I get a motion to approve. Give your motions. The recommendations to the city commission with the revisions to the goals, number 1 and number 7.
I will make a motion.
Okay, Lindsay,
John,
Second.
in further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 7 minutes left. Proposed upcoming meeting items. One thing I thought of is, we have quite a few meeting items that we brought up earlier, but also the problem with meeting, the field trip is that we're gonna have to, it becomes a meeting if we have a quorum.
So anyone could join us, is that?
Right.
well, you meet on, go out and take the north side of the street, we'll take the south side.
Yeah, so. I'm not sure how we address that.
We can talk to Danae.
Mhm.
And just
Okay.
see if the quorum piece is as strict as like with the commission. It might be that if, as long as you're not talking or making any decisions, it doesn't need to be.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, well, if you could find that out, then we could schedule that. So
What's the date of the next meeting? Is that-
Yes, it's the second Thursday,
Yeah.
so it'll be June, like, I don't know.
11th.
So we will not know budget by then.
They'll take that for preliminary budget, the first.
On June 1st, the manager presents the preliminary budget. If they have anything that they wanna say, they'll say it there so that they can make the changes for the 15th. So,
Do we need to be at which meetings do we need to be at? I can't make next Monday.
yeah, because Monday
You
is
can
gonna
make
be,
it, right?
yeah, Monday is gonna be the.
I think as long as somebody's there. I
I
think
can read it
that's,
too,
that's something,
maybe more.
Okay.
because if you have a quorum, then we have to notice that you guys are gonna be. No, I'll check with the damn quorum. So what major topics would you like to bring back for June 11th, Chair?
Well, let's see. Well, Lindsay's gonna present the map.
Perfect.
We also asked the names about our, term limits.
Yeah, we're gonna work on the high school residential part.
The just residential parking overview,
Yeah,
and then we can start diving in. Okay.
yep.
Get a whole other group of town to hate us.
Oh, and we were gonna get. Chris was gonna give us. The data from the parking kiosks as far as
Yeah.
usage numbers.
yeah,
Then we were gonna talk about kiosk signs
Yeah,
and locations. And the BID was gonna make some progress on garbage dumpsters.
Gonna try.
We'll see, we'll just kind of get a framework together of. Who we're gonna talk to and.
Yeah.
How we're gonna start.
It's been a garbage week.
and you're working with the people who are driving the trucks, right? That's not you, that's not city.
public works.
Yeah.
Could be both,
Has anyone talked to the drivers to see if they got ideas?
commercial trash.
It's not really the drivers. It's trying to make it equitable for you that is paying for the dumpster and Joan dumping her trash in there that's not paying for the dumpster. It's trying to figure out how to equitably place dumpsters around downtown so that everybody can use them. And everybody can.
Seems to me that you could do a fee on every tax on it.
So here's the thing, commercial trash does not work that way. So residential trash is on, it's an assessment on your, I think it's on your water bill, I think it's on your tax bill. Because in the city of Helena, the city is the only residential option for solid waste. Commercial, yeah, by code. Commercial solid waste is not. The city is basically just another business, and what used to be Tri-County or whatever they're called now could also come around and do commercial trash if you wanted them to do it instead. So that's why they can't just put it on a tax bill or whatever.
City can still instill regulations on it though,
Yeah.
with where it goes.
But that's where this.
Right, and that's what
That-
discussion.
right.
Yeah.
And there's also the issue of the trucks tearing up the asphalt,
Right.
Yeah.
which I don't know if that's a complicated issue, but.
They're heavy trucks, I mean, it's not,
Maybe the issue is to send them a bill. But I don't know.
well, it could be as simple as if you're gonna place the dumpster in like our lots. Then maybe it's not only the rate, the fee for the dumpster from solid waste. But we also get paid the lot, the space rental,
Right.
which would, over a year add up and eventually pay for some of those maintenance items.
It's
Yeah,
a decent solution. Okay.
yeah. I don't know how you put that in place, but
I think step one is figuring out what are the best locations and program in general. And if the answer is the lot is still the best place for it or the only place for it for some locations, then yeah, the next step is, okay, well, we gotta be compensated for the damage that it does to the infrastructure.
Well, that's the truck paying for it. What about who are the business people who are paying for it? How do we make that equitable for people?
That's part of that conversation.
Okay.
And the other piece is, I think the larger piece is. I noticed the dumpsters for, I think it's the Union. Especially in the summertime, there's quite odorous. And. Do we want them?
Yeah.
In or close to public spaces like the sidewalks, and stuff like that, so I think that's.
Yep.
One of those questions that also has to be discussed on.
yeah,
Like Chris said, the location, are they gonna be in alleys, or are they gonna be, away from, so that we don't. Get an odor problem that people don't wanna come downtown now because they're odor issues.
Do they only pick it up, do they do it, pick it up daily or
twice a week where we are.
Yeah,
they maybe?
there's a
go
schedule,
at-
but the more times they come, the more expensive it gets.
Yeah,
More damage on the road. But there's yeah, so there's where do you put it so it doesn't cause trouble? And also where is it, where it's invisible?
my guess is you're probably not gonna move very many.
Not very much.
Because they are generally the only place available.
Like the one in the lot, was it 10 behind, across from Park Avenue there? He has to come in from the library side, come all the way down into that whole lot, pick it up at an angle, put it down and try not to hit a car or a tree.
It's,
The nightmares.
we watched them take out the kiosk
Yes.
cover.
Jester's gets theirs daily. I hear mine every morning.
Well, yeah. They took out
That's
their
our statement.
residential fence this week. They're very nice about it. Okay,
It's
all right. Is there anything else? Any further comments? Because we're.
I think we're doing a great job. I think we're getting a lot done. You guys still like us?
I think.
Yeah.
Are we helping your job?
On the record, you still like us.
Yeah.
Okay,
On the agenda.
can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
PR roll.
Right?
All in favor?
Right.
I have one.
You guys are.